What up, everyone? So trying to give you all more consistent content, I'm going to stream more often and I'm going to upload those streams. You can follow my streams on Twitch and actually was on Instagram Live for a little bit today. I'm just trying this out. Let me know if you like it in the comments below. Special thank you to my patrons, Adrienne, Whitney, and Andrew. I appreciate you guys. So here's the stream. We cover topics such as nursing shortages, nursing burnout, COVID-19 pandemic, some funny Reddit posts. We also covered that Texas mandate about travel nursing. We covered some nurse doctor drama on Twitter briefly. So let me know what you all think. Enjoy. This is the quote that this opens in. When hospitals are understaffed, people die. One expert warned as the U.S. health systems reach a breaking point in the face of the Delta variant. I don't know where y'all are from, but from what I'm seeing on social media, and from what I'm hearing from my friends in other states, it's really, really bad. I heard it was bad as the second wave, people just coming in. For me, this reminds me of like the wave in December. That gave me a lot of PTSD, but we're not going there. So, Cindy O'Brien, an emergency room nurse at Ocean Springs Hospital on the Gulf Coast of Mississippi, could not believe her eyes as she arrived for work. These were people sprawled out in their cars, gasping for air as 3 ambulances with gravely ill patients idled in the parking lot. Just inside the front doors, a crush of anxious people jostled to get the attention of an overwhelmed triage nurse. It's like a war zone, said Miss O'Brien, who is the patient care coordinator at Singing River, a small healthcare system near the Alabama border that includes Ocean Springs. This is boring details. We are just barraged with patients and have nowhere to put them. It's like a war zone. I'm lucky enough to be in a place right now where it's not like a war zone. Where I'm at, it's not this bad. But I remember in December when I was thank you for subscribing. Happy Arantix. When I was in travel nurse in December, it was pretty bad. For those of you just joining on Instagram, I'm streaming on Twitch if you want to join. Let me see. How do I get to the chat? See, I don't even... Okay, moving on. The bottleneck river has little to do with lack of space. Nearly 30% of Singing River's 500 beds are empty, with 169 unfilled nursing positions. I can't believe that. Nursing shortages have long vexed hospitals, but in the year and a half since the ferocious debut in the United States, the coronavirus pandemic has stretched the nation's nurses as never before. This is I don't really read New York Times articles, but this is a very... It seems they use a lot of big words. It just seems so dramatic, right? Nursing shortages have long vexed hospitals. All right, I guess you're a journalist. Testing their skills and stamina as desperately ill patients with poorly understood malady flooded emergency rooms. It's just a longer way of saying, hey, our emergency rooms are full. Okay. They remain steadfast amid a calamitous shortage of a personal protective equipment spurred by a sense of duty. They flock from across the country to newest hot zones, sometimes working as volunteers. More than 1,200 of them have died from the virus. That's sad. Now, as the highly contagious Delta variant pummels the United States, bedside nurses, the workhorse of a well-oiled hospital, are depleted and traumatized. Their ranks thinned by early retirements or career shifts that traded the emergency room for less stressful nursing jobs at schools, summer camps, and private doctors' offices. We know this. We all know this, right? Everyone knows. We all joke. We're trying to leave bedside. Everyone wants to get a cushier job because bedside sucks, right? That's just the facts of nursing. It's kind of sad, but it is what it is. Is there a chat function here? How do I go to the chat in Twitch? I don't even know how to go to the chat in Twitch. I'm sorry, Twitch. I'm still figuring this out. Twitch. Chat. I don't know how to... Oh, there. Expand. Oh, there's the chat. Oh, look. I spent so much time looking for the chat and there was no one chatting. That's funny. That is comedy. Um, let's see. Now, I feel like I shouldn't be laughing while I'm reading this article. Now, as we're exhausted both physically and emotionally, Miss O'Brien said, choking back tears. Let's see. And there's some pictures here. What picture is this? Cindy O'Brien, emergency room nurse at Ocean Springs Hospital. We are just barraged with patients, have nowhere to put them. Yikes. Let's see, this is a dramatic photo too. Oh, look, HIPAA in that photo, right? I'm sure they got permission to get that photo. Like hospital leaders across much of the South, the chief executive of Singing River has been struggling to stanch the loss of nurses over the past year. Burnout and poaching by financially flush health systems have hobbed hospital systems during the worst public health crisis in living memory. With just over a third of Mississippi residents fully vaccinated, Mr. Bond is terrified things will worsen in the coming weeks as schools reopen. Doubles down as schools reopen and Governor Tate Reeves doubles down on his refusal to reinstate mask mandates. Yikes. Our nurses are at their wits' end, Mr. Bond said. They are tired, overburdened, and they feel like forgotten soldiers. True. I see that all over social media. Nurses are definitely at their wits' end. Everyone's tired. Everyone's over it. Before we go home, we see... Oh, shit. What happened here? Before we go home... We leave our work at home, but now we go home. Shit, I can't even talk. Before we leave our work at work, and now we go home. We see it on the news. We see it on social media. Work is everywhere. People are over it. I'm over it. Let's see. Across the country, the shortages are complicating efforts to treat hospitalized coronavirus patients, leading to longer emergency room waiting times, rushed inadequate care. Right there. I like that. I like how they said this. Longer emergency room waiting times and rushed or inadequate care. I don't think people get that enough. Like, you have to cut corners when there's too many patients, right? What can you do? According to interviews with hospital... What's up, Penguin Queen? Hospital executives, state officials, and medical workers who have spent the last 17 months in the trenches. I'm fortunate enough to be, in California where there was a huge wave, and then afterwards it kind of died down. But I know in some states it just never stopped. The staffing shortages, I can't talk. The staffing shortages have a hospital-wide domino effect when hospitals lack nurses to treat those with less intensive care. Emergency rooms and ICUs are unable to move out patients, creating a traffic jam that limits their ability to admit new ones. 1 in 5 ICUs are at least 95% capacity, according to analysis by the New York Times. A level of experts say it's difficult to maintain standards of care for the very sick. When hospitals are understaffed, people die. All right. Shit, this is pretty intense. Let's see. Oregon's governor has ordered 1,500 National Guard troops to help tapped out hospital staffs. Officials in Florida County, where hospitals are over capacity, are urging residents to consider other options before calling 911. I'm going to repeat that. Right there. Hospitals are over capacity county where hospitals are over capacity are urging residents to consider other options before calling 911. Imagine having to call 911 and then all of a sudden, or imagine having to call 911, you're like, wait a minute, let me consider other options before I call 911. Like, you have to call 911. This is a mess. What's up, A-Train? Let's see. Right? The Latina nurse. What are the other options? Exactly. I don't know. GFab in the chat. Twitch chat. Hello. Let's see. Insane. A Houston man with 6 gunshot wounds had to wait a week before Harris Health, one of the country's largest hospital systems, could fit him in for surgery to repair a shattered shoulder. If it's a broken ankle that needs a pin, it's going to need to wait. Our nurses are working so hard, but they can only do so much, said Maureen Padilla, who oversees nursing at Harris Health. The system has 400 openings. 400 openings. The system has 400 openings for bedside nurses, including 17 that became vacant in the last 3 weeks. In Mississippi, where coronavirus cases have doubled over the past 2 weeks, health officials are warning that the state's hospital is on the verge of collapse. The state's hospital system is on the verge of collapse. I saw a TikTok about this when they were on news. The Mississippi's, they said this, the healthcare system, our hospital system was on the verge of collapse. I can't even believe it. That's insane. The state has 2,000 fewer registered nurses than it did at the beginning of the year, according to the Mississippi Hospital Association, with neighboring states also in crisis and unable to take patient transfers. Insane. You want to be there in someone's moment of need, but when you are in disaster mode and trying to keep your finger on the leak in the dike, you can't give every patient the care they deserve, said Lou Ann Woodward, the medical center's top executive. As a bedside nurse reading this article, why is this like? It's just funny to me that a top executive is giving the quotes. You know, you want to be there in someone's moment of need, but when you are in disaster mode, yeah, all right, I'm not going to get into that. With staffing shortfalls plaguing hospitals coast to coast, bidding wars have pushed salaries for travel nurses. I'm a travel nurse, if you guys didn't know, to stratospheric levels, depleting staff at hospitals who can't afford to compete. Many are in states with flooded with coronavirus patients. Yeah, so now's the time to be a travel nurse. I've told several people that. So if you're even thinking of being a travel nurse, I would say just do it. Like, what's stopping you? You know, best decision of my career for sure. Here's a picture. For those of you joining on Instagram, I am going live on Twitch. Link is in my bio. For those of you watching my Twitch, thank you for being here. I've never streamed a Twitch before, so I'm happy you're here. If you want me to change anything, let me know. Put it in the chat. All right, moving right along. Agreed on travel nursing, says A-Train Music. Yeah, my fellow travel nurse right there. Let me write this. Streaming on Twitch. Link in bio. Twitch. I mean, Twitch is pretty cool. I don't know, still figuring this out. Bastota Swang on the Twitch chat. What's up? Welcome. It's good to see some familiar names here. Moving on along. Texas Emergency Hospital, a small health system near Houston that employs 150 nurses and has 50 unfilled shifts each week, has been losing experienced nurses to recruiters who offer $20,000 signing bonuses and $140 an hour wages. Texas Emergency, by contrast, pays its nurses $43 an hour with $2 stipend for those on night shift. That's ridiculous money, which gives you a sense of how desperate everyone is, says Patty Foster, the chief operations officer of the system, which runs 2 emergency rooms in Cleveland, Texas, that are over capacity. Miss Foster sighed when asked whether the hospital offered signing bonuses. The best she can do is pass out goodie bags filled with gum, bottled water, and a letter of appreciation that includes online resources of those overwhelmed by stress over the past few weeks. That just makes me super sad, because, I mean, I don't know Miss Foster, but she's obviously an administrator. But as much as we like to blame administration, a lot of times it's not their fault, right? It's just the system's fault. There's only so much they could do. And it's sad that, reading this, the best you can do is pass out goodie bags. Whew, gives me chills. Because staff is like literally drowning. Patients are dying. And, this girl, this administrator, she doesn't know what to do. Business has never been better for travel nurse recruiter. Aya Healthcare, one of the country's biggest nurse recruitment agencies, has been booking 3,500 registered nurses a week. What? 3,500? Double its pre-pandemic levels, but still more than 40,000 unfilled jobs on its website, said April Hansen, the company's president of Workforce Solutions. We're barely making a dent in what's needed out there. This is what scares me about travel nursing right now. There's a reason why some of these crisis rates are so high is because you don't know what you're walking into. So I can't even imagine what it's like right now. I just wish all the nurses the best. That's all. There are more than 3 million nurses in the U.S. in 2019, estimates 176,000 annual openings for RNs across the country in the next few years, but those projections were issued before the pandemic. Peter Borhaus, we got a bottle of water, says Liz today. Bastosa Swang, talking truth. Welcome. Peter Borhaus, an expert of the economics of the nursing workforce at Montana State University, is especially rattled by two data points. A third of the nation's nurses were born during the baby boom years, with 640,000 nearing retirement, and the demographic bulge of aging boomers needing intensive medical care will only increase the demand for the hospital nurses. People are getting older. People want to retire. I'm raising the yellow flag because a sudden withdrawal of so many experienced nurses would be disastrous for hospitals. We've been saying this for years, though. We've been saying we're short. We've been saying that these hospital systems are crumbling. We've been saying that for years, and sure enough, something like the pandemic comes along, and we cannot sustain this as a healthcare system. Nurses have been saying this for years. This is nothing new. Sad, right? Many experts fear the exodus will accelerate the pandemic as the pandemic drags on and burnout intensifies. Multiple surveys suggest that nurses are feeling increasingly embattled, the unrelenting workloads, the moral injury caused by their inability to provide quality care. Right there. Moral injury caused by their inability to provide quality care, and dismay as emergency rooms filled with unvaccinated patients, some of whom brim with hostility stoked by misinformation. Yes, right there. Wow. So much to unpack there. Moral injury caused by inability to provide quality care. I've experienced this so many times as a nurse, right? You want to do the best for your patient, and you literally are out there with a good heart, but for whatever reason, the forces against you, whether you don't have enough staff, you don't have enough supplies, management is not with you, you just can't do anything about it. So there's two sides to you, one wanting to do good, and the other side who just needs to get through their job, and that will create your moral injury. And it's a lot. I don't know how. I hope people are really taking care of their mental space, because going through that is definitely a lot. And then here's another one. Dismay as ERs filled with unvaccinated patients, many of whom, or some of whom, brim with hostility. Yeah, some people come in and they're pissed. They're pissed when they're unvaccinated. It's messed up. And this profession, it's like you get put to the test. You get put to the test because people are yelling at you, people are cussing at you, and you're just trying to do the best you can, and it just never seems good enough, and it's exhausting. I don't blame people for wanting to leave bedside. I want to leave bedside. I tell people this all the time. If I could quit bedside nursing and do content creation full time, I would do that in a heartbeat, which is why I'm making so much content right now, right? There is definitely an end goal here, right? If I could do all this full time somehow, I don't know yet, but I encourage people, if they're not unhappy with their work or unhappy with their job, you can leave. You can, because going through all of this is just too much for a single person. We'll go crazy. I'm heated up just thinking about it. A-Train music. I like my patients under general anesthesia. Yeah, I think a lot of people do, and so do a lot of ICU nurses, right? That's one of their favorite things to say. They like their patients intubated. Oh, speaking of angry, here's the next line. Nurses, too, are angry that so many Americans have refused to get vaccinated. They feel betrayed and disrespected. Sad. Here's more pictures. See, what bothers me about these pictures... See, this picture's okay. What bothers me about these pictures here... like, what is this? CEO, COO of this facility? Why are they featured in the Times, right? What have they done? Whatever. I don't know them. I'm pro bedside nurse. I'm a bedside nurse. So when I see more emphasis on administrators while we're out there in the trenches, I just remember the beginning of this pandemic, and I had, administration was just so mean at this hospital that I worked at, and I will never, ever forgive them for that. And I still hold I would like to let go of the negativity and the bitterness I have, but I just remember they were not there for us. They were not there for us at the beginning of this pandemic. Anyways, moving along. Increasing the nation's nursing workforce is no easy task. The United States is producing about 170,000 nurses a year, but 80,000 qualified applicants were rejected in 2019 because of a lack of teaching staff. Okay, I hear about the nursing shortage, right? But it's hard for me to really imagine it when people say, hey, we're pumping out this many nurses, but we don't have enough because of teaching staff. That's hard for me to grasp. We can't graduate nurses fast enough, but even when they do graduate, they are often not prepared to provide the level of care that's most needed right now, said Dr. Katie Boston, Director of Nursing Program at the ANA. Newly minted nurses, she added, require on-the-job education from more seasoned ones, placing additional strains on hospital resources. I can't even imagine what it's like to be new right now. Being a new nurse in the pandemic, when the pandemic hit, I was pretty seasoned. I had five years of experience, but I know some new grads who just are pandemic nurses, and you just hit the ground running. I can't. Props to the new nurses. Seriously, going in. One of my friends, she said she actually, when the pandemic hit in March, she was a floor nurse and she became an ICU nurse in 3 days. 3 days training. Then they put her in. I'm like, what? 3 days? That's insane. That's just insane. So as a new grad, you're just literally hitting the ground running. Let's see. Some of the proposed remedies, let's hear for the remedies, include federal policies that can stabilize the profession, including financial assistance to help nursing schools, hire more instructors, and staffing ratio mandates that limit the number of patients under a nurse's care. I don't even know. I think there just needs to be a total overhaul of the healthcare system. Like more staff, like the way we do things as a whole system is just the responsibilities given to bedside nurses is just too much, in my opinion. The simplistic notion that the labor market will just produce the number of nurses we need just isn't true for healthcare, said Professor Pittman of George Washington University. Nursing is in crisis, and maybe the pandemic is the straw that will break the camel's back. It's breaking. It's breaking, and it makes me sad. As a bedside nurse, I'm definitely pro nurse, as I've told you all, and the state of how nursing is right now just makes me really sad. Bedside Rounds is here. Oh, what's up, Bedside Rounds? In the Twitch chat, yes, let's overhaul. I would love an overhaul of the entire system. Even physicians, right? Bedside Rounds is a physician. They're feeling overwhelmed too, and it's just too much. Bedside Rounds. Hello. I'm also pro nurse. I'm pro doctor. Oh, you know what the next topic is after this article, everybody? There's some nurse drama which I'm not sure about. I thought we'd all figure it out and piece it together. Nurse and doctor drama, and when there's nurse and doctor drama, I love diving deep into it to see what's going on. But that's after this article. Let's see. Moving on. The crisis on full display at Texas Emergency Hospital, which has been treating patients in hallways and tapping administrators to run specimens to lab. tapping administrator. So their admin is running specimens to lab. Okay. That one doesn't seem that crazy to me. Oh, you're so busy. Our administrators need to transport blood to the lab. Like, really? That's the most you can do right now. I'm so bitter. In recent days, 90% of those admitted to the hospital have tested positive for the coronavirus, shortened ventilators, and with the hospital in Houston no longer able to take the most critically ill patients, officials have been contemplating the unthinkable: how to ration care. I think they did this in December, right? In LA County. Like, you wouldn't bring a patient. This is just what I heard from memory. You wouldn't bring a patient to the ER unless you get ROSC, right? Unless you get pulses back. So if someone has a heart attack in the field and you lose pulses, you know, that sucks. The hospitals are just so overrun. Let's see. Instagram chat. ALJ 2020. I started as a new grad in the MICU. Hitting the ground running is an understatement. Props to the new nurses coming in. Yeah, I started in the ICU, and that was overwhelming for me. Imagining how to titrate drips and do everything at the same time and take care of ventilators. I was so scared of tubes, of intubations. Not intubations. I was so scared of ventilators when I was a new nurse. And, you know, it's all about ventilators nowadays. Let's see. Bedside rounds, OMFG, 90%. Admits COVID positive. Insane. Let's see. Where was I? On Friday, Cassie Kavanaugh, the CNO for the Nurses Hospital Network, was dealing with additional challenges. 10 nurses were out sick with COVID. She had no luck renting... 10 nurses were out sick with COVID. Man, she had no luck renting ventilators or breathing machines for her COVID patients. Many of the new arrivals in their 30s and 40s and far sicker than those she saw during previous surges. This is a whole different ballgame. Miss Kavanaugh, too, was running on fumes, having worked 60 hours as a staff nurse over the previous week. Wow, on top of her previous duties, or administrative duties. So she worked 60 hours as a staff nurse on top of being an administrator. She was also emotionally wrought after seeing coworkers and relatives admitted to the hospital, and her anguish only mounted after she stopped at a grocery store. Almost no one, she said, was wearing masks. I don't know how much more we can take. But one thing that hit me hard today is the realization. If things keep going the way they are, we're going to lose people for sure. And as a nurse, that's almost too much to hear. End article. Wow. Any thoughts? That was insane. That article is too much. I mean, it's not too much. It was just a lot. Again, I'm just so grateful to be where I'm at, but I feel for the nurses out in the rest of the country, because I know what it's like to be swamped. I know what it's like to have just, you're stuck not knowing what to do because of everything around you is just pure and utter chaos. That's how it was for me in December when I worked in LA County, and I can't even. PTSD, mad PTSD from it. All right, let's see. Bedside rounds, IG chat, hello. What's up, Twitch? We're moving topics. Maybe something a little spicier, more lighthearted. Let's see. Sarah RN, she's in Scrubs. Very, very, very active in social media. I usually go on her page to see, hey, what is new? And this is her Twitter. I think, I don't know. There's just with nursing drama, like, it's just like, what did I miss? You know? So I just saw a few tweets earlier that I'm not really sure are the context. So let's try to figure out the context. Let's see. Oh, see here. Oh, you know what it comes from? I think a doctor said nursing school is easy to get into. I think I saw that. So let's look. Let's scroll. On a side note, we'll get into this. Breaking from the ANCC, data from a new survey shows majority of nurses stand behind the science of COVID-19 vaccines. 87% of nurses are vaccinated. I don't know where that's from, but let's go back to a little drama from before, because this is where a lot of these feuds started from, right? The drama, I'm pulling it up over here. Forbes article published in June said that 96% of doctors are fully vaccinated. And as opposed to less than 50% of nurses. And what people did with this data is they ran with it. One, physicians just kind of ran with it and to see how well, or here. Practicing physicians across the country are leading by example. And then, of course, in another article, it said something that nurses are less than 50% vaccinated. So what people did with this is saying, hey, nurses, what's going on with you? You know, and we did some digging. This is a little bit of old news, but we did some digging on June 11, 96% of doctors fully vaccinated. Do some more digging. This was from a survey done by the AMA for 301 doctors. 301 doctors, and you're saying, hey, over 96% of all doctors in the nation are vaccinated. And then they look at the nursing study, which I don't have the numbers yet, but I tried looking into the numbers. It was way back in January when they were pulling the numbers. And when did the vaccine come out? December, January. So what it became was doctors saying, hey, what's up, nurses? And then what it became was the general public taking that data saying, hey, what's going on? Why aren't nurses vaccinated? And then there's just a bunch of nurse bashing, which we can get into later. But let's look at what this drama is from. Oh, right here. I don't really know how to use Twitter on the desktop. Dr. Bruce Lobitz. It's really easy to get into nursing school. Oh, see. Oh my God. All right. Cool. August 20, Colleen Little Whitty, whoever that is. Can anyone explain to me why so many nurses are anti-vax? I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around this. See, now there's this narrative that's saying that nurses are anti-vax, and then that's what most of the public thinks. But Dr. Bruce Lobitz, it's really easy to get into nursing school? What? What is it? Can anyone explain to me why so many nurses are anti-vax? And this fool, open link in new tab. Let's look at his profile. This fool says it's really easy to get into nursing school. Like, I'm not even offended. I'm just like, why are you saying that? Like, what do you gain from that? So obviously, we're gonna read the subtext. Y'all know I'm a fan of subtext. If this person is asking why so many nurses are anti-vax, and he says it's really easy to get into nursing school, meaning he's calling nurses stupid, right? That's a subtext. I could be wrong. Anyways, let's take a look. Dr. Bruce Lobitz, emergency medicine. Okay. Sometimes I write a little, sometimes I exercise. I don't know anything about this guy. But Twitter, this is why I like Twitter, because there's just so much drama all the time about something. Hold on, let's see. Look at that comment from Tasha CNS under that post. Oh yeah, bedside rounds. That's where I'm getting to. So Tasha CNS right here. Wow, was it easy to get your license suspended? And then here you have the Louisiana State Board of Medical Examiners. Please take notice that the Louisiana State Board of Medical Examiners, pursuant to the authority vested in by the Louisiana, has issued an order of summary suspension, suspending the license of Bruce Harlan Lobitz, effective immediately. New Orleans, Louisiana, April 1, 2015. I don't know why. I don't know why it was suspended. Bedside Round said that was a sick burn. So obviously this guy got his license suspended and he's, I don't know. He hasn't been practicing for what, 7 years? But it's so easy to start drama on the internet, right? It's social media. So let's back it up a little bit. Let's see. So right here. This is why I love Sarah. Because she's very pro. I consider myself pro nurse, but I'm not as outspoken as Sarah. But let's see what she says here. Do y'all see how quick some physicians are to, 1, blatantly lie about the nursing profession, 2, insult the intelligence of nurses everywhere, 3, spread misinformation regarding nursing education based on their own bias and stigmatization? It's true. This is why I opened up with the AMA. This is why I opened up with that AMA survey, because as soon as that survey came out, when they said 96% of physicians are all vaccinated and only less than 50% of nurses are, so many doctors, mostly I saw on Twitter, were like, hey, like, look at us doctors, and you know, what's going on, nurses? And it was just very quick to kind of like shit on nurses, right? Bedside Rounds. Joscel, we don't know if his license was reinstated later. Bedside Rounds, for the sake of honest discussion. But it takes something really bad to get your license suspended from my leadership experiences. Yeah, I mean, even with nursing, it takes a lot to not practice as a nurse. Because I feel like nursing boards are very forgiving, right? Let's see. Sarah RN, continuing to read her post. We literally just mind our businesses and y'all will find any reason to shit in us for clout. I see a lot of, I mean, you can't really shit on nurses as doctors on social media because there's just so much. You'll get a lot of backlash. I think a few months ago that one anesthesiologist got a lot of backlash just because when you try and, you know, but it's not about being a doctor and it's not about being a nurse because it's about being a good person or having bad actions. There are some nurses who do bad things, right? And there are some doctors who do bad things as well. It's not all doctors are good or all doctors are bad. It's not as black and white as that. So my point being, when doctors shit on nurses, it's a little bit different though, in my honest opinion, because you're kind of punching down there, right? Like, and I've told people this, I've gotten some heat from some docs when I responded to that anesthesiologist a few months ago. They were saying I was stoking doctor hate and I was anti-doctor, but I'm not anti-doctor. I'm just anti-mean people, anti-bully, if we have to get specific. But when nurses make fun of doctors, it's a little bit different because they're kind of punching up, depending on what, of course, you're making fun of. And I think Bedside Rounds, if you're still in here, you kind of know that because you make memes, and when you're making memes, you're essentially writing comedy. So punching down and punching up, you can't, it's like, you can't make fun, taking a very extreme example, you can't make fun of like homeless people because you're just being an asshole. But if you make fun of like CEOs who are very rich and wealthy, like you're punching up. And that's okay. You know, when making memes and stuff. Let's see. Moving along. Bedside Rounds. I've been called anti-doctor too as a doctor because of calling out dumb shit. Man, I actually got called out. I got called out as being anti-vax most recently. I think some of you know this. It rubbed me the wrong way that nurses were very cruel to one another or saying very cruel things. And when they were saying cruel things to nurses who are not vaccinated, it kind of struck me the wrong way. And I'm like, hey, I'm not ready to call nurses that I, did codes with, that I saved lives with, to call them stupid or anti-vax. Anti-vax in a sense that, you believe in essential oils over Western medicine. I'm just not ready to call nurses that. But the true anti-vaxxers, the true people who will not vaccinate their children and not vaccinate themselves and put others at risk, I think there's a problem with that 100%. But I think just because you don't want the COVID vaccine, you're not a true anti-vaxxer. And if you are a true anti-vaxxer in the healthcare profession, you need to get out, though. Like, there's no space. There's no space for that. Like, there's no space for that. Anyways, moving along on Sarah's feed, I'm honestly shocked. This is by Marvelous Miss Mepilex. I'm honestly shocked that doctors don't think our education is based on the same research and evidence-based practices as theirs is, as if we are just taught how to miter bed corners, hold hands, and fetch ice. Any knowledge we acquire is because they were kind enough to teach us. Let's see. Barbie Siesta. Yes, we should all combat anti-vax rhetoric, no matter where it comes from. I agree, 100%. Let's see, moving right along. FamDoc says, thank you. I agree, maybe the numbers for surveys and even the Forbes article seemed outdated, but it should concern all of us if we see any anti-vax rhetoric coming from our peers. No reason to stick our head in the sand and say there is no problem at all. Let's admit if there is. I don't know what that guy's talking about. Oh, nursing shortages. Let's see. New York Times today. Our workforce. Oh, I think that's the one we read. That's the one we read. Nursing is in crisis. Yeah, that's the one we read. It's a good article. Let's see. What I wanted to talk about too, I don't know anything about. Let's look up Texas. That Texas ban. Texas travel nurse. Like, they're not letting Texans be travel nurses? News. Texas travel nurse. Let's see. 5 days ago right here. Nurse.org. Texas bans local nurses from quitting to work FEMA crisis contracts in states. So basically, from what I'm getting from the headline, you can't be a travel nurse within Texas. That wouldn't have worked for me. I lived in Southern California-wise. If California did this, I lived in Southern California. I went to travel nurse at another hospital. So this would have affected me. So this sucks. Let's see how long the article is. All right. I'm going to speed read it. But if y'all have any thoughts that you want to give me at any time, let me know in the chat. Let's see, back to the beginning of this article. Texas bans local nurses from quitting to work FEMA crisis contracts in state. In order to mitigate negative staffing impacts on Texas healthcare systems and EMS agencies, the state of Texas will only allow personnel deploying for this emergency response to be non-residents of Texas only and to have not been employed by Texas Acute Care Hospital or EMS agency within 30 days. This is mandated from the state of Texas. All healthcare workers with applicable licensure are eligible for any crucial staffing contract opportunities that are direct agreements and not directed by entities outside of the healthcare facility. That sucks. A quick search on several travel nurse job boards will find many nursing job postings stating that Texas is not currently accepting nurses who are residents and who work in Texas to work for FEMA or government-funded disaster contracts. That sucks. We reached out to Crucial for more information on how out-of-state nurses can apply. Here's the response. We are following the mandate from the state of Texas that those healthcare personnel Crucial staffing recruits for deployment in Texas must be non-residents of Texas and cannot have been employed by a Texas Acute Care Hospital or EMS agency within 30 days. All healthcare workers that meet this standard have applicable licensure are eligible for any crucial staffing contract opportunities that are direct agreements and not directed by entities outside of the healthcare facility. Yikes. Our mission is to help the hospitals and ultimately the individuals who are suffering in their great time of need. If you are interested in applying with Crucial, blah, blah, blah. That's kind of messed up because I get it. Like, I get it from the Texas point of view. If you are running out of nurses because they're working travel contracts, so you say, hey, if you're from Texas, you can't do a travel assignment in Texas. I get it. I get the mindset, but that's messed up. Like, really? Like, nurses already feel shat on. Nurses already feel trapped, right? And you're gonna tell these people they can't work if Texas was their home state. They can't work in their home state. That's messed up. That's messed up. Let's see. Governor Abbott passed a mandate that prohibits Texas residents who are currently employed from working for FEMA or state-funded disaster. The problem apparently lies in this sentence from his August 9 press release announcing the actions he planned to take in response to rising COVID-19 cases. The DSHS will be utilizing staffing agencies to provide medical personnel from out of state to Texas healthcare facilities to assist in COVID-19 operations. Apparently, that little stipulation that the medical personnel from out of state has resulted in currently employed Texas nurses or current travelers based in Texas being unable to work government-funded disaster response contracts if they have been employed at a hospital within the state in the past 30 days. That sucks. Texas was one of the first to open up, and now they're one of the first to have the highest numbers. So, I don't know. Texas in dire need of thousands of nurses. Texas is looking to fill 6,500 healthcare positions from out-of-state or unemployed Texas nurses to help with the COVID-19 response. Texas is dealing with a record number of ICU hospitalizations from COVID-19 thanks to a severe shortage of nurses. The state has extended its state of emergency. Last Monday, Texas Governor Greg Abbott requested help from the Texas Department of State in dealing with the surge in cases. Part of that help included funding to hire travel nurses as outlined in the document titled Governor Abbott's Proactive Response to the Coronavirus Threat. That seems like a satire. That seems like satire right there. Governor Abbott's proactive response to the coronavirus threat, right? There's a document titled that according to this article. And I'm not too up to date on politics or news, but knowing Texas, knowing Governor Abbott, that sentence right there is that's pure satire, right? Bedside rounds. Fuck Texas Governor Greg Abbott. Right? That's pure satire right there. Let's read it again. Governor Abbott's proactive Governor Abbott's proactive response to the coronavirus threat. Man, that's funny. Because we all know nothing's proactive about Governor Abbott's response to the coronavirus, right? Nothing. Let's see here. Goes over some details. A lot of what this sounds like is a lot of what word am I looking for? Shoot, I'm losing my words. A lot of it is technicalities based off some orders of the governor, whether or not people can work. But anyways, it's messed up. People should be able to work where they want to work. Nurses should be able to work where they want to work. That's my thing. You know, I tell people that all the time. That if you are unhappy with your job, you have the ability to go and find a job somewhere else as a nurse because there are so many opportunities. And so what this mandate does, according to this article, it takes away that freedom from nurses. And that's not cool. That's messed up. What's happening in Texas? Basically, things are bad in Texas. So bad that Sophia Morris, Vice President of Account Management for the travel nursing agency AYA, called it the worst that we've seen in Texas. The problem is that the Delta variant has swept the state, leading to 11,522 hospitalizations, the highest it's ever been during the pandemic. At the same time, there is a nursing shortage from so many nurses being burned out or falling ill. We just read an article on that. Serenita Bumpus, Director of Nursing Practice in Nursing for the Texas Nursing Association, told CBS Austin that the state was already 30,000 nurses short in 2018, and it was predicted by 2032 Texas would be short 60,000 nurses. 60,000 nurses? Like, again, I can't fathom these numbers. Like, how are we so short? I don't understand. I just don't understand. Mark's down. Renaissance, baby. Yeah, so my friend Mark down there in the Instagram chat was talking about the Renaissance, and that's what's been great for me and travel nursing. It's been kind of like a renaissance for me, right? I've been able to work at 5 different hospitals, been able to be a vaccine nurse. Nursing, you can go through several renaissances, personal renaissance, and I'm very thankful for that. So moving quite along. Let's see. Serena Bumpus, Director of Practice in Nursing for the Texas Nurse Association, told CBS, oh wait, we just read that. However, the pandemic sped up the timeline. The prediction is that we have well surpassed those numbers due to the pandemic. To me, it's just everything's so messed up right now. Like, I can't even fathom these numbers from these news articles that I'm seeing, from tweets from my colleagues in other states. Everything is so messed up right now. Travel van. Is there a shortage in California? I'm unsure. That's a great question. I am unsure. I'm sure there is, because I've been seeing some rates around here, but I don't think to this extent as in Texas. The Texas Hospital Association explained in a statement that its combo of lack of nurses and current surge that has overwhelmed the medical system led to a dire need to call in contract workers. The surge is nothing like we've ever seen, the THA said. Hospitals are doing everything in their power to figure this out. Staffing is a critical issue, and this spike is unsustainable without help. Many hospitals have already idled non-essential services and are offering bonuses and incentive pay just to keep staff. To help with the situation, the governor did outline specific steps he planned to take to deal with the influx of patients, including asking the THA to request the hospital stop non-emergency medical procedures. Oh, they're there right now. Okay, they're like that right now, canceling procedures, opening antibody infusion centers, and expanding vaccine administration. Along with proactive steps, Abbott also requested that additional travel nurses and healthcare staff from out of state be brought to help with the overwhelming needs of the hospitals and healthcare facilities. And oh, this one's sad right here. And unfortunately, as we heard warnings from the start of the pandemic, it's not just COVID-19 cases that are the problem. That's something we all need to educate everyone on. It's not just COVID, right? Because on top of COVID, our healthcare system was crumbling already before COVID. So you add a layer of pandemic on that, and this is the result. Ro Tapia, hello, welcome. Streaming on Twitch if you want to join. Streaming the article on my screen. All right, let's see. It's not just COVID-19 cases that are the problem. It's the fact that beds are filling up so fast that people without COVID have nowhere to go for their medical needs. The thing has really overwhelmed our resources. The ERs are full. I can tell you there are patients that are getting transported hundreds or thousands of miles away just to seek care. There are patients that are getting transported hundreds or thousands of miles away just to seek care. It may not be COVID related. That's insane. Let's see, a couple more paragraphs here. Man, what's causing the nursing shortage in Texas? According to the THA, Texas is attempting to fill the gaps in nursing care with out-of-state healthcare workers. They already said that. Their organization explained that the hospital industry has lost a ton of nurses throughout the pandemic because of burnout and illness. Many have left the profession due to the extreme nature of the work during a relentless pandemic. You know, we all joke about it, but, you know, a lot of nurses, you know, went to other sources of income, OnlyFans, right? A lot of nurses that I know thousands of dollars in 1 month from OnlyFans, and other side hustles. Like being a nurse, yeah, you can make money, but it's exhausting. Let's see. Compassion fatigue, Rotapia. Yes, absolutely. Let's see. However, there's a minor complication that some nurses are seeing with the whole situation in Texas, namely that they feel the state is punishing nurses who do live there by prohibiting them from working contract positions during time of crisis. Absolutely. We as nurses should be able to work wherever the hell we want. Actually, not even nurses, right? Anyone should be able to work wherever they want. If they have the skills, they should be able to go wherever they want. So, Texas, stop that. Stop that. Like someone from Texas is like really gonna watch this. Someone from Texas is like, oh, I watched JJ's podcast. I should stop. Oh, that'd be funny. Last paragraph. Some Texas nurses aren't happy that they have been left out of the opportunity to help in their home state by working disaster response contracts and earn a wage. At that, let's face it, they deserve more than anyone. They feel the ban exists to try to ensure that the staff nurses in Texas don't quit their jobs in order to take higher paying disaster response crisis contracts, and that ultimately it's only going to add to the already dire nursing shortage in Texas in the long run. Of course, they don't want Texas nurses because they are mad the nurses don't want to be staff anymore, commented one nurse on Facebook. And instead of paying them what they deserve to care for critically ill patients in higher nurse ratios, they try to block TX nurses. But there are literally 49 other states. Nurses, do not forget. So doing this isn't going to help the problem. It'll make it worse. Other nurses in Texas are begging for help in getting the ban reversed. If you know a nurse and appreciate what we do, please support us. Another Texas nurse pleaded on Facebook early this week. Call Abbott and demand he allow crisis response agencies hire Texas travel nurses. Yikes. If they did that to me here, I would be so pissed. If they're like, you can't leave SoCal and go to NorCal, because that's what I did, I'd be so upset. Anyways, any thoughts? Feel like we just did a lot right now. That was pretty intense. Just to recap, for those of you that just joined us, we did that awesome New York Times article. I mean, it was a good article, really hit home. It was a little, nursing is in crisis. We looked at that article, looked up some doctor Twitter drama. And then we just read this Texas article. So anyone have any thoughts? Carol D. Mendoza, we just read the Texas article about the ban on Texas nurses being travel nurses within the state. And now I am looking. Oh, this one's sad. This one really hits home for me right here. This was a tweet by Uncle Tifa. Why did we become nurses? I've been asking myself that every damn day. It really hits home. I think then Pat Mac RN, I think so many of us are asking ourselves this and that. We should be allowed to question this. Nursing was everything I wanted out of a career. It combined my love for the biological science with the social science. It gave me practical skills and numerous directions to explore. It just, I've said it multiple times. This just makes me sad because when you're stuck in a job you hate and you're being worked into the ground every day, like, for you to just say, why am I doing this? Why do I keep coming back to work every day? Why do I keep putting myself through this? I think it's really sad. And I wish I could help more people. But anyways, thoughts by anybody? I got a question here. I'm streaming on Twitch. This is my first time streaming on Twitch. I'm going to upload it as a YouTube video. So we'll see how that goes, huh? Becoming an NP says, how much pay difference is NorCal from SoCal? Okay, so that's a good question. I was shocked. This is not based off any statistic, right? The question was, how much pay difference is NorCal from SoCal? I come from SoCal as a nurse, and I was shocked by how much the difference was. I think the highest pay I've seen for full time in SoCal was like $60-ish. And then full time in NorCal, what I've seen based off other people's, this is full time positions, not travel, based off other people's, what they tell me in paychecks. Full time staff nurses in NorCal make like $30 more than that, so like around 90. This is a range, right? The high end of SoCal, I feel like, is 50 to 60. And the high end of NorCal is maybe 80 to 90. I don't know. I really don't know. But $30 to $40 more for sure for doing the same exact job. It's insane. Like, I didn't believe it with my until I saw it with my own eyes. $30 to $40 for doing the same job. Oh my God, I should move, says Becoming. Yeah. Please. If this is why I tell people, I get it. I get why people stay in one place because that's what they're used to. Their family's nearby. And then if they have partners, they have a lot of ties to the area. That's regular, Carol D. Mendoza. That's regular. But if people are really serious about money, they need to make some moves depending on where they are. Bay Area nurses are the highest paid nurses in the world. That's a fact, Staff. We're talking staff per diem, staff or per diem. I'm not talking about travel nursing. Travel nursing is very different. But if you're serious about money, hourly wise, you need to go, as a nurse, you need to move to NorCal, either Sacramento or San Francisco or somewhere around the Bay Area. It's baffling to me. I just don't understand the disparity. Insane. Let's see. What else y'all want to talk about? What else can we look up? Nursing Reddit is always fun. Reddit nursing. I think I'm gonna hop off here. I've been streaming for an hour and 10 minutes. Wow. Megons on the Instagram chat. I've been thinking of moving to California to work. Do it. Is it worth it? Becoming an MP says, is it worth it even if the living expense is also times 2? That's what a lot of people say, like the living expense, but it's kind of the same. I came from SoCal. It's kind of the same, right? Rent is still pretty high. Rent is high in SoCal. So other than rent, I don't know. I think it's worth it. I mean, strategically, right? Some people will just come up here for a couple years or get a per diem gig, and some people will work up here and then fly down to somewhere else that's cheaper. Yeah, like make some moves. Like we cannot be so naive to think that our first job is where we're going to retire, and that's going to be the best moves for us as a person. For us as a person. For some people that works, right? But being a travel nurse, what I've realized is our perspective is so limited to that first hospital we're in. I was so naive, right? I was like, this is how every hospital is, because that's all you know, right? And then the more hospitals I went to, I'm like, wow, like every hospital is different and every hospital is the same, And there's a reason why these social media accounts are blowing up, like meme pages. There's a reason why Nurse Life RN, RIP EB was so popular, was because there are shared experiences. There are shared experiences that we all have as healthcare professionals, as nurses in the hospitals. But despite those shared experiences, we have to realize that that's not all there is. There's greener pastures if you have to look for it. You have to look for it though, if you don't look for it, you're going to be stuck in comfort. And that's exactly what I didn't want to do, be stuck in comfort up until retirement in one place. At least where I'm at right now, I have the perspective of multiple hospitals, and I know what kind of hospital I would want if I were to settle down somewhere. But yeah, it's rough. It's rough. Let's see. Any other questions? Oh, there was this one. Let me see if I have it. There's this one message I wanted to share with you all. Any other questions? Last minute questions? This has been fun. What'd you all think of this stream? Who's been here the whole time? I've been talking for like an hour and 10 minutes. It took me like a few hours to set all this up, but I hope it's been somewhat entertaining for you. I can't access it. There was this, let me see if I have it here. There was this DM I got that I wanted to share with you all. Let me see if I can even access it. Oh, Latina nurse. Oh, you've been here the whole time. Thank you. Thank you. It was great. 8 Powers 1RN. It's been great. Thank you. Thank you for staying. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Hold on one second. I need to grab something. My Wi-Fi. Yeah, I'll do this more often. I think this is like an easier way for me to pump out content. I think what's been challenging for me as a content creator over the past couple of years is really creating consistent content. And skits take forever. I love making skits. I love writing skits, and I love making you all laugh, but they take forever. They take forever to write and to produce, and then it eventually became very paralyzing in a sense where like, oh, I'm not making any content. I'm just not going to do anything because I'm just so overwhelmed and paralyzed by the amount of that goes into content creation. Like even this, like I was super overwhelmed with this stream. I've never streamed before to this extent. But yeah, we'll probably make more news streams. I like the drama part. Drama part was funny. Carol G. Mendoza from Instagram chat. I would encourage for those who can travel, take advantage. I know for me, I can't have 2 little ones that depend on me, but after they are out of school, I hope I have enough energy and be able to do travel nursing. 100%. I think one of my friends told me that when I was a new grad. One of my friends was like, you need to do travel nursing. And I didn't know what he meant. But absolutely, it's probably the best decision of my career without a doubt. And at least, even if you don't like it, like at least you know? At least you know you won't like it. You got to try it at least once. But having that perspective of a different hospital is so invaluable, in my opinion. Let's see. The Latina nurse. Yes, content can be difficult at times and overwhelming. Props to you for doing a live. I'm still taking a long break from my IG platform. Yeah, it's a lot. It's for sure a lot. But I mean, when I was doing the stream today, when I was setting it up, I was like, I know it's what I want to do. It's goes towards my goals of, becoming a YouTuber, right? A YouTuber is a very, very viable career nowadays. But how are you going to be a YouTuber without YouTube content? That's what I say. Type in this password, 01 SFR. Let's see. Becoming an NP says, I've never done a live because it scares me. LOL. Got any tips to decrease anxiety? I don't know if you're at the beginning of this live, but I can just tell the energy of my energy was a lot lower at the beginning of this live because I was very nervous. To decrease the anxiety, I don't think I have any tips other than maybe know that the anxiety isn't gonna go anywhere. You're gonna be nervous always. You're always gonna be nervous going into it. And I still have anxiety right now, you know. As far as decreasing it, I think it's just focusing on something else other than the anxiety, like focusing on like for me, reading the article, focusing on your breathing, focusing on the breath. Just focus on the task at hand, and that goes with dealing, I think, with any anxiety. Just use your breath work. Breath work has phenomenally helped me with my anxiety, and then focus on what needs to be done during a live. And you'll mess up, you know. And every live, I think like, oh, no one's gonna watch it, and people end up watching it. And sometimes there's been lives. I've been on Instagram lives where it's just one other person, and I've had great times just talking to them. You know, we get caught up in the numbers, especially if you're trying to grow an audience. We get caught up in the numbers, but if you have the numbers but don't have the content or don't have the presence, like what are you doing? You know, you can have, if you were given 100,000 followers, subscribers tomorrow with the same content you have already, like how are you going to provide for that 100,000 followers, right? Let's see. There's a DM I got. Let's see what it said. Oh, by the way, I don't know if y'all know, I got a new video out on YouTube. This is probably going to go on YouTube too. Let's see. Requests. Oh, this is a good one. We're going to definitely discuss this. It was under nursing. It was under Reddit. Someone sent me this. Sire Bag sent me this. Sent me this link to Reddit nursing. Let me stream it on the Twitch. Let me see. All right. Wait, where's my Twitch chat? This is the thing with Twitch. It's like two different chats. There's so many chats. I have the Instagram chat and then I have the Twitch chat. So here is what was sent to me today on r/nursing. Bang Energy drink nearly killed me at work yesterday. I think they sent this to me because of yeah, so someone sent it to me because it says Chad needs to give his opinion on this. And then the article or Reddit post is Bang Energy drink nearly killed me at work yesterday. So I've been working 12-hour shifts all week, literally 6 days in a row. Last night I was feeling really sleepy, so during my 30, I purchased a Bang. Everything was going fine until an hour later. My eyes started fluttering. I felt like I was going to pass out. I was having issues breathing. Felt like I was going to throw up. Heart was racing super fast. Thankfully, my charge let me take multiple breaks and gave me Gatorade and crackers. My symptoms lasted for about 3 hours. I really felt as if I was going to die. I'm the talk of the whole hospital now, but at least I feel better. Here's to day 7. See you all later. What did I just read? What? Is he okay? My eyes started fuddling. I felt like I was going to pass out. I was having issues breathing. I felt like I was going to throw up. Heart was racing super fast. Was this his first time? This is his first time having a Bang? It sounds like this guy's never had a Bang before. Bangs, let's face it, Bang is not good for us, right? It's a bunch of non-FDA approved chemicals. It's pre-workout, but this guy sounds like he couldn't handle the bang. Let's see what people say. Here, I feel like here's to day 7 might be more of a root cause here than the bang energy drink. Also, felt like I was going to die while experiencing arrhythmias, and your response is, thankfully my charge nurse let me keep working. True. Why does this person keep working if they're about to die? It's 59 comments. There is more to life than working a job. Physical and mental health cannot be neglected and are incredibly more important than their short staffing. 100% agree. Seriously, that stuff. My fiance is a nurse and was obsessed with these for a week. He ended up with pustule tinnitus, and it's taken about a month to go away. Thank God. It's actually pretty scary. Now, for the first time in his life, he agreed to a caffeine limit. Yeah, caffeine messes us up. Fried spam with rice here on Reddit. You aren't supposed to chug the whole thing. Did he chug the whole thing? Update. Oh man, update 9 hours ago. I called out. I'm not sure if I'm feeling burnt out with a mix of sickness from the energy drink, but I literally can't drive to work this afternoon. You know what? I'm glad this guy called out. Because you're working 6 12-hour shifts in a row. I get tired from 2 12-hour shifts in a row. I get tired from 1 12-hour shift in a row. This guy's 6 12-hour shifts in a row and he's on day 7. I don't think it was just a bang. He was just probably exhausted. So I'm glad he called out. Wish you the best. For_mommy10. Wait. Just for_mommy. Wish you the best. On that note, I think that is it for my stream. Thank you everyone for joining. Thank you Instagram fam. Thank you new Twitch supporters for being here. This is probably the longest video I will ever upload. Let me know what you think of this video, what you think of this stream. Follow me on Instagram and all the other platforms. Check out my funny videos. Do you like the news setup? Do you like the stream setup? Let me know. Becoming an NP. Is this like every Sunday? I would love to have a more consistent schedule. Maybe in a couple months when I have a block schedule. Announcement. I'm going to take a part-time job here in San Francisco. Because as a travel nurse, it's so unexpected. I work 3-hour shifts, right? 3 12-hour shifts, and every week is different. So maybe I'll schedule them ahead of time. And then I'll post my schedule or something if y'all want to know. Abby Cakes, I enjoy this. Thank you. That's good to know. I'll do more of this. But as always, send me a DM. Follow me on all the platforms. I love chatting with all of you. Thank you for staying, especially those who stay the whole time or for a good portion of the time. I appreciate all of you. I hope you're all being safe. And until next time, stay essential, my friends. Peace. Yeah. So thank you for watching all of this. Thank you for watching all of this. I hope it was entertaining at some point. I hope entertaining or enlightening. I don't know. But I'm thankful for all of you. There is, as a content creator, sometimes there are some costs associated with it. So I do have a Patreon. It should be in the link down below if you want to support for as little as $1 a month. I would truly appreciate it. I hope y'all have a great day. Thanks for watching. Stay essential.
It went in like butter, bro.